Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Wednesday, September 17, 2025. And in the news of this evening, St. Catherine man dies in North Coast Highway crash. A St. Catherine motorist succumbed to injuries he sustained during a two-vehicle crash on a section of the North Coast Highway, which passes through Stewart Castle, Trelawney, on Tuesday afternoon. The deceased has been identified as Andre Anderson of an Eltham Park, St. Catherine address. Reports are that about 3:40 p.m., Anderson was driving a white Subaru Impreza motor car when he lost the control of the vehicle and crashed into a Toyota coaster bus traveling in the opposite direction. Both Anderson and the Toyota coaster bus driver sustained injuries and were rushed to the hospital, where Anderson was later pronounced dead. The condition of the bus driver is not known at this time. Anderson's death pushes the number of road fatalities in Trelawney to 18 since the start of the year, 5 fewer than the 23 recorded over the corresponding period last year. Man shot dead in Banana Ground, Manchester. A man was shot dead and another man wounded by gunmen at a shop in Banana Ground, Manchester, Tuesday night. Police named the victim as a businessman Moncrief Balford, 61, a resident of Banana Ground. A police report said that about 10:30 p.m., residents heard loud explosions sounding like gunshots and called the police. On the arrival of the police, Balford was found outside the shop on the ground unresponsive, and the other man was seen inside the shop suffering from gunshot wounds. Both men were transported to the Mandeville Regional Hospital, where Balford was pronounced dead and the other man was admitted for treatment. Councillor Maria Mitchell of the People's National Party, Belfield Division, said the incident is surprising.
I would just want to condemn in the strongest fashion the murder and the shooting last night in the community of Banana Ground. Banana Ground is a community that is well loved and well liked across Jamaica by producing Olympians and persons who would have made Jamaica proud. This is the second shooting in a few months. I remember recently one of the bar owners and operators, Omar, was killed when somebody was trying to break into his bar. This shooting last night was surprising to me, and I would like to condemn it in the strongest fashion. I want to express sincere condolences to the family of the victims. So far, one person has died and another person is in critical condition in the Mandeville Hospital. Let me just say to the residents, I want them to remain calm. I want them to rest assured that I will do everything in my powers, along with the police, to ensure that their safety is a priority. So I have also spoken to the police already to say that we need to go into the space to see how best we can make whatever interventions to alleviate and to let the residents rest assured that their community is safe. So I will do every single thing within my powers with the relevant authorities to ensure that Banana Grounds go back to becoming a peaceful, hard-working farming community. And I just want to let the public know that whatever it is that must be done, we will be able to do it to get the community back to a sense of normalcy.
St. Catherine shopkeeper disarms attacker, hands over gun to police. The St. Catherine South police are probing a shooting incident in which a shopkeeper reportedly disarmed one of his attackers and later handed over the gun to the authorities. The incident occurred in the Gordonwood community near Old Harbour in the parish. Reports are that about 10 p.m. Tuesday, the 40-year-old man was at a shop which he operates in the community when he was pounced upon by two armed men who fired shots injuring him. During the melee, the man reportedly managed to disarm one of the gunmen. Both the gunmen then ran from the scene and escaped. The weapon was handed over to the Old Harbour police. The injured man was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was admitted for treatment. Indicom probing police fatal shooting in Lake Spence, St. Catherine. The Independent Commission of Investigations has launched a probe into the fatal shooting of a man by the police following an alleged armed confrontation in St. Catherine on Tuesday. He has been identified as 27-year-old Levi Foster, unemployed, of Quarry Hill, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Reports are that about 5:54 a.m., police personnel conducted an operation in the Lake Spence community of St. Catherine during which they accosted Foster after he allegedly brandished a handgun and challenged the police. The police reportedly took evasive action and fired, injuring Foster. A .38 revolver loaded with 2 live rounds of ammunition were reportedly seized from him. He was assisted to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Digicel restores its service to customers after widespread outage. Digicel says its mobile and data services have been fully restored following a disruption that affected customers across the island. Customers had been experiencing dropped calls and error messages, including not registered on this network. The telecommunication provider has said its technical teams were actively working to identify the cause and restore services as quickly as possible. The company thanked customers for their patience during the disruption, promising that active prepaid customers will receive 1 hour of free data and digit-to-digit calls between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. on Wednesday, while active postpaid customers will receive 10 gigabytes of free data valid until October 17. Jamaican student athlete in Canada fears death if deported. A Jamaican student athlete in Ontario says his family as Canadian immigration officials move ahead with deportation proceedings. Tamari Lindo, 21, a top-ranked collegiate hurdler at York University and Canada's #1 indoor hurdler in the under-23 category, told the CTV News he fears for his family's safety. "Honestly, I think it will be death," Lindo shared. "It sucks that I have to say it goes to that extreme, but I definitely think it would potentially be death, because if they ever find out that we are there, it would be a lot of consequences." Lindo arrived in Canada in April 2019 with his father, George, stepmother, Jelandre, and younger sisters, Tamia and Tamarli. George Lindo applied for refuge status, claiming the family had been targeted by gangs in Jamaica because of his political support for the People's National Party. He said he had survived 3 assassination attempts and repeated threats. "It got so bad that at times they would come out to the house looking for us," Lindo recalled to CTV News. "The most traumatic experience I've ever had was when I was in the car with all my siblings going to school and they were threatening us to stay home, or they were going to shoot up the car with all of us in it, me and my little baby siblings." Last year, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada rejected the family's asylum application, saying there was insufficient evidence that the violence they experienced was directly linked to political activity. A senior immigration officer wrote that crime, including murder, is widespread in Jamaica and any risk they face is not personalized. However, the family's lawyer, Aiden Simardon, disputes that conclusion, calling it complete nonsense. "We're not talking about generalized violence," Simardon was quoted as saying by CTV News. "We're talking about someone who is being specifically targeted because of their political work." George was a member of the opposition. He was helping out the opposition. He was targeted for that reason. Following public pressure last year, the government granted the family a 1-year extension, but Simardon said removal proceedings have now resumed. The Canada Border Services Agency has scheduled an interview for September 22, after which deportation could take place within days. Simardon said a humanitarian and a compassionate grounds application has been pending for more than 2 years, but it does not prevent deportation. For Tamari, the uncertainty jeopardizes not only his Olympic ambitions, but the sense of safety he found in Canada. "When I came up here, I felt the first bit of safety I've ever felt in a very long time," he told the CTV News. "Honestly, I don't know what I would do. I don't even know where I'd start. I would just be completely broken." Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.